Welcome to NCIX Tech Tips. Today's episode is all about taking your older system, maybe it's a few generations ago since you've actually changed anything about it, and upgrading your graphics card. I want to show you guys what kind of a benefit you can get from upgrading this to a newer video card such as a GTX 670 from NVIDIA. So let's take a look at what kind of a system we're talking about here today. Slick and I have put together this representative of an older system kind of test bench. So we've got a Core 2 Duo X6800. Now, while that is an Extreme Edition processor, it's just a dual-core Core 2 Duo. It's actually not much faster than something like an E6600 would be. We've got 8 gigs of DDR2 memory. We wanted to make sure the system has enough memory because that's an easy upgrade that you can do at the same time as your video card upgrade, and we didn't want to run into a situation where we were totally bottlenecked by just running out of system RAM. Wanted to make sure we had enough. For our graphics card, we're using an 8800 GTX. This one looks like an Ultra, but it's actually not. It's just an ultra cooler on a GTX. The reason we chose that card is because 5% of Steam gamers are still running basically this card. Whether it's an 8800 GT, an 8800 GTX, an Ultra, a GTS 250, a 9800 series card, they're all pretty much exactly the same in terms of performance. So we want to show you guys what you can get by upgrading your graphics card in order to rejuvenate that older system. Can you still get a decent gaming experience in modern games? Now, Crysis 2 might not be the newest game, but it is a fairly demanding title, and the obvious question that anyone who's upgrading an older system asks is, what about hardware bottlenecking? So, first of all, will the GTX 670 be bottlenecked by this dual-core Core 2 Edition processor? Yes, it will. However, is there still a value to be had by upgrading the older system? Will you see any performance benefit whatsoever? And what we found is that the answer was yes. So for our benchmark, we did my usual run through of Crysis 2 at 1080p ultra presets. We actually ran the 670 in both DirectX 10 and DirectX 11 mode, whereas the 8800 GTX was only able to run in DirectX 10 mode, and we can compare the performance of both of those two modes. We were CPU limited, so this system did not perform as well as a newer system with a 670, but we were able to improve the gaming experience, and I guess that's the objective of an upgrade. I think the results speak for themselves in this case. So our GTX 670 running apples to apples, so DirectX 10, DirectX 10, ultra presets with high-res textures and no motion blur, is a clear doubling of performance over the 8800 GTX. You can see the CPU bottleneck. You can see that the minimum FPS is actually quite similar. That is definitely the CPU holding it back. You can also see that the GTX 670, being only double the performance of an 8800 GTX, is clearly being held back because it's much more than double the performance of this card. However, not everyone has the option to take their older gaming system and completely scrap it and replace it all in one shot. So if you're planning an upgrade and you want something that you can use today in your existing system, and then you want to be able to transfer that new card into a new system maybe 6 months down the road, getting a beast graphics card is going to be a better option than going with like a half-arsed full platform upgrade. So get the graphics card, save up some more money, do the platform upgrade later, as opposed to just kind of buying everything mediocre all at the same time, because then at least you'll be able to unlock the performance of that 670 later on. So thank you for checking out this episode of NCIX Tech Tips, and don't forget to subscribe.